Hi students, welcome to Veteach app. In this video, I will explain about two-port network. In this two-port network, ABCD parameters are transmission parameters or constant parameters. So, in this parameter, we use two inputs and as well as two outputs as a dependent and as well as independent values. So, ABCD is very useful in transmission lines or electrical power sector. Why? Because generation power one side and transmission at one side. From generating to transmitting and as well as distributing, it is only single way, only unique path. But whereas in two port, we have two current directions from port 1 and as well as port 2 as input and as well as output. So students, in this you have to keep in your mind that the current direction is only unidirectional from one end to the other end, means port 1 to the port 2. Port 1 is the sending end side and port 2 is the receiving end side. Here in two port, that to be ABCD parameters, we will consider as voltage and as well as current. Voltage and as well as the current. So Vs and Is are sending end voltage and current, whereas receiving end it is a voltage receiving and as well as the receiving end current. So this is a basic block diagram of two port network where Is and as well as Vs are sending end is input. Here IR and VR are output at receiving end. Actually the current direction is, it should be towards, but here the direction is opposite. Now here when direction is changes, so what happens? Here the positive value will become negative. So don't confuse here, only in this case the value will be change, that is plus will get minus. So how many parameters we are finding here? ABCD, 4 different parameters. So here dependable values are nothing but Vs and as well as Is, and output side it is nothing but that is independent is VR and as well as IR. So basic formula for ABCD parameters are Vs is equal to A into VR plus B into IR and Is is equal to C into VR plus D into IR. So other name of ABCD is nothing but transmission parameters. Transmission parameters. So the above equation can write in terms of a matrix form, that is 2 by 2 matrix form. Vs IR is equal to ABCD into VR IR. But what happens here? Here IR becomes minus. IR becomes minus. So this is the transmission matrices. So in a two port we have two different types of circuits, that is open circuit and as well as the closed circuit. In open circuit the voltage will be there and current will be 0, whereas when it is shorted the current will be 0 and as well as the voltage will exist. So here when it is open circuit, then the current is 0, IR becomes 0, that is IR becomes 0. So Vs is equal to A into VR or Vs is equal to, so to find A value what we have, Vs by VR. So sending end voltage to the receiving end voltage when IR is equal to 0. To find the a constant value of A and to find the value of C, here Is by VR when IR is equal to 0, means receiving end current is 0, when receiving end current will be 0, right? So Is by V, Is by VR. Students, voltage by current, what is unit here? Voltage by current, it is unit is ohms. If it is reciprocal of voltage and current, then it is mho or Siemens. So in ABCD parameters we will find a ohm and as well as mho here, right? When it is short circuited, well, first of all what we done, it is open circuited. If it is short circuited, then the remaining sending also we will find, that is in terms of B and D. So this is about a two port network. How many circuits we are mentioning here? Two circuits, that is open circuit and as well as a closed circuit. Okay, so we'll do one problem regarding these ABCD parameters, so you have some idea. Right, students. So given one network here, this network is like a T network. How it is? It is T network. So 2 ohms, 10 ohms and as well as 4 ohms. 3 resistance he given. He given that V1 and I1, V2 and I2 are input and output terminals. From this, we have to find the values of A, B, C and as well as the D. Students, one more important thing, it may be a 2 marks question, that in two-port network, what do you mean by a reciprocity condition and as well as the symmetry condition? Okay, so here in ABCD parameters, the reciprocity condition and a symmetry condition, that is AD minus BC is equal to 1. AD minus BC is equal to 1 is a reciprocity condition, whereas symmetry condition A is equal to D. A is equal to D. These two are very important in each and every parameter. Now in this problem, right, I1 this side, actually current should be this side, but what we are doing, we are changing, means the value will come minus I2. Now applying the KVL in loop 1, we have two loops are there, loop 1 and as well as loop 2. In loop 1 current is passes and loop 2 second current is passes here. So this is the basic equations we have to find the ABCD parameters, that is V1 is equal to A into V2 minus B into I2 and I1 is equal to C into V2 minus D into I2. Now loop 1 equation. So here loop 1, what we can write here, I1 is there, this is 10, it lies in between two loops. So here in 10 current moves from I1 to I2 or I2 to I1. Okay, so first of all we will take loop 1 as 2 into I1 plus 10 into, see the direction, this is a clockwise direction, this is also clockwise direction, so both values will be plus here. So 2 into I1 plus 10 into I1 plus I2. If you simplify this one, 2I1 plus 10 into I1 plus 10 into I2, then 12I1 plus 10I2. You take it this equation number 1 by using KVL, right? In the same way, loop 2, if you take loop 2 this one, if you write it like this, V2 is equal to, what we have, 4 into I2. Which one? Which 4 it is? Which 4? Plus 4. And here the 10 is there. 10 into plus I21 plus I2. So if you release this one, V2 is equal to 4 into I2 plus 10 into I2 plus 10 into I1. So 10 I1 plus 14 I2. Right. But what we have to find out here? We have to find out the ABCD parameters. Now what is the relations we have? Right. Where is V1 and I2? V2. I1, V2 and as well as I2. So in this, the circuit should be short circuited and as well as the one should be at a open circuit. Okay. Now from this equation number 2, 10 I1 is equal to V2 minus 14 I2. From 2, 10 I1 is equal to V2 minus 14 I2. Okay. Now I1 is equal to V2 by 10 minus 14 by 10 into I2. If you simplify this one, I1 is equal to 0.1 V2 minus 1.4 I2. I1 is there, V2 is there, I2 is there. Okay. So I1 is there, V2 is there, I2 is there. So here whatever the values are there, that values we can say as a C and as well as the D, right? So substitute this equation in 1, that is V1 is equal to 12 into V2 by 10 minus 14 by 10 into I2 plus 10 I1. If you simplify, we will get V1 is equal to 1.2 V2 minus 6.8 I2. This is equation number 4. Now comparing the equation 3 and 4 main relations. So A is equal to 1.2, B is equal to 6.8, C is equal to 0.1 and D is equal to 1.4. But here one thing that you have to mind. Students, if it is V2 by V1, how we can define? Or I2 by I1 and V by I, V1 by I1 for example, or I1 by V1. Here the ratios are different here. Each and every ratio have different, so the units also different here. So in ABCD parameters, it is very a different one compared to previous Y parameters and as well as Z parameters. What happens means here, V2 by V1 is nothing but it is a ratio of the voltages. then we can define as this is a voltage gain. Voltage gain. If the same ratios are there, we can define as voltage gain. Here, the ratio of two currents, then it is current gain. It is current gain. And voltage by current, you know, it is a ohms, or reverse of current by voltage, it is mho. So in ABCD parameters, we have four different values, two gains and as well as one admittance and as well as the impedance. So this is the basic information about ABCD parameters.